Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, everybody. Yes, God. Get those lights up, baby. Up. Thumbs up, thumbs up. All right. What's going on, Conscious Crew? Happy New Year, girl. Only 4 days in, and all hell is fourth. We expect that, baby. We're in the age of Aquarius, okay? Therefore, it's going to be up and stuck for the next 2,500 years, all right? Fuck what Cat Williams made you heard, okay? Baby, it's going to be stuck for the next 2,500 years of this, all right? We got some things to get into, girl. You know, we've been following this case very closely. Before we get into it, go ahead and thumbs up the video. You guys put thumbing up the video. Not only helps with YouTube's algorithm, but more importantly, it triggers YouTube's notification system. So when you are thumbing up the video, you are literally knocking on the digital door of another Conscious crew member and telling them to get their black asses, get their melanated asses into the chat, all right? Also, make sure that you guys have your notification bell set to all, and last but not least, please share the stream out to wherever it is you have digital community, whether that be your YouTube community wall, your Snapchat, your Facebook, the dark side of Twitter, Tumblr, or your personal OF. I don't really give a damn where you lay the link. Just let them forwards know that we're loud, we're live, and we're certainly in color. With no further ado, let's go ahead and push on through.
I know a place where you can recharge your soul.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
And in the midst of brokenness, he gon' see your asshole.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
You gon' heal, you gon' laugh and catch a little shade.
Ooh, girl.
Y'all know he be slaying, y'all better stop playing. Come hear what he's saying.
Ladies and gentlemen.
All right, let's get into the things, child. Y'all thumbs up. You guys know Jay-Z got a lot going on, girl. Okay, the Illuminati came knocking, baby, for the renewal of that contract, baby, for 2025 on out, child. So y'all know he got to go through his 6-quarter annual humiliation ritual, girl, just like the rest of them high-powered ass, high-profile ass, high-status ass Freemasons have to do so. All right. Let me speak to the Conscious crew before we get into it. Happy New Year, everyone. Hey, Denitria, what's going on? Michelle, hey, Andrew, hey, High Maintenance, what's going on? Ebony, hi, Sherry, hey, Brittany, hey, T the Goddess, hey, Boo, hey, Rumors and T, what's going on? Akanes, what's going on, Boo? What's going on, Rebecca? Hey, Sin. Hey, Sabra. What's going on, Honey? Hey, Sherry. What's going on, Zator? Valerie. What's going on, Nana Lux? Hey, Boo. What's going on, Stoa? Hey, baby, Maba. Hey, y'all. What's going on, Lauren? What's going on, Angelina? Hey, Earl. What's going on, Chow? Hey, Pauna. Hey, Tracy. What's going on, Thundercats? Hey, Essie Berry. Hey, Boo. Happy New Year to you, love. Blessing to you and Happy New Year, Conscious and the Conscious crew, period. On Paria, honey, y'all make sure to subscribe to Essie Berry on YouTube, child. She be over there, honey, getting into the things for 2025, baby. All right, shout out to my boo, Essie Berry. What's going on, Renee? Happy New Year, y'all. What's going on, Tammy? Hey, Boo. Hey, love. All right, let me turn on this music, child. Y'all also know all donation information is in the description box below. My moderators typically rotate all links, child. Okay, so y'all can bless the cane. We got to get into a real significant update in this lawsuit, girl, with Beyonce's husband, Camel Z, also known as Sean Carter, better known as Jay-Z, girl. Y'all know that the Illuminati came calling for Jay-Z ass back in October of last year. Well, really back in November of last year, girl, when Tony Busby had a Jane Doe who had originally sued Diddy for raping her when she was 13 following the Video Music Awards in the year 2000. That lawsuit was then amended to then include Sean Carter, Beyonce's husband, all right, where Jane Doe then alleged in an amended complaint that she was actually assaulted by both Jay-Z and Diddy, all right? Now, what we didn't know at the time that we now know is that Jay-Z turned around and sued Tony Busby for trying to shake him down, okay, as it relates to this case. So Jay-Z put a reverse Uno. As a result of Jay-Z pulling a reverse Uno, Tony Busby pulled a wild card and then had Jane Doe amend her complaint and list Sean Carter as one of her other rapists. And it has been a legal shit show ever since, girl. All right? Now, you guys know in our last update, the judge had pretty much berated Alex Spiro for doing a little bit too much in the courts in his attempt to desperately get this lawsuit dismissed regarding his client, Jay-Z. The judge was not here for some of the petty antics of Alex Spiro, who was doing his fair share of name-calling, ad hominem attacks against who is now being called an ambulance chaser, attorney Tony Busby, who not only is being sued by Jay-Z for extortion, but is also being sued by 3 former clients, one female alleging that he physically assaulted her, another man who is claiming that Tony Busby ran off with 60% of his workers' comp check, all right, and that there are plenty of other people that the law firm has stolen money from, according to that client, and he's been accused of giving another woman a venereal disease in her cooter box, girl. I mean, girl, Tony Busby is getting that work on top of having to deal with Rock Nation for extortion, girl. All right. So as I told you guys, because look, I've seen enough lawsuits, so I have been in enough cases at this point to be able to read the room. I told you guys that it was not a big deal, even though there were some real big head ass so-called YouTubers, girl, who were trying to rev up the dramatics around this judge berating Alex Spiro. I told you guys this was nothing more than a warning from the judge who was establishing what was not going to happen in his courtroom. Some judges are with the shits, other judges are not with the shits. This particular judge, Miss Torres, she's not with any of that. She wants professional conduct through and through, by and by. And she laid the ground rules down by putting Alex Spiro in his place and pretty much telling him to just stick to the facts, baby. Everything gonna be all right, girl. Okay? Okay? Tony Busby did not win. Jane Doe did not win. And pretty much Alex Spiro returned with a more corporate attitude. He reinstated his case regarding dismissal. He's now made 2 fundamental arguments for dismissal. One being the fact that the allegations just do not factually exist in this case, okay? Alex Spiro has already done a PowerPoint presentation in his press conference regarding these allegations and how they would be timeline impossible. Shout out to my baby mother Myra for the old nasty piece of child support chat. Thank you, baby mother Myra. Thank you so much, love. You guys know all donation information is in the description box below. Okay. Where was I? My train of thought. All right. Okay. He broke it down how there was no Jumbotron the year 2000 for the Video Music Awards. He broke down how none of the residential properties work that Diddy owned because both Diddy and Sean Carter were in clubs, commercial clubs, the night following the BMAs. They were at Club Twirl and Club Lotus, okay? He spoke about how she also could not have had a conversation with any of the drivers for the celebrities because those drivers are separated by blocks. They also are barricaded by security for obvious reasons. They're carrying stars. There was just a bunch of shit, girl, okay? The celebrity, Benjamin Madden, she claimed she spoke to at the after party about his Last Supper tattoo also was not even in New York City at all. He was on tour in the Midwest. There were just a trillion and one inconsistencies where things got worse for Tony Busby because his client took to NBC and did an interview where she also further acknowledged that there are inconsistencies and errors in her allegations, and that she even guessed some of the situations and details, baby. A mess. Tony Busby was then forced to come behind his client to respond to her pretty much blowing the cover, okay, and ripping the curtains back, further incriminating this entire situation when he said to an NBC reporter that the only vetting he did of his client was having a conversation with her. She had got referred to him by another law firm, a law firm he did not list and cite by name, and that he did not go into detail about regarding what their vetting process was. Okay? So it's been a shit show. So Alex Spiro has made two arguments so far in defense of a dismissal. He said, for one, this is factually impossible. It just did not happen according to Jane Doe's story. It did not happen. On top of the fact that there are no corroborating witnesses, nobody even heard these allegations from her until she sat with Tony Busby. Her father did not hear it. Her friends did not hear it. She admitted she had told nobody this until she sat down with Tony Busby. The same father that she claimed picked her up and commuted 5.5 hours across town to pick her up at an undisclosed gas station following this whole ordeal also told NBC that he has no memory recall of picking his autistic 13-year-old daughter up from a random ass gas station 5.5 hours across New York state lines or bureaus. No recollection, girl. Had not even heard of these allegations and damn sure did not pick her ass up and drive out of his way for his teenage fucking daughter, given these circumstances, child. And then the bitch that she claims drove her to Midtown from Rochester conveniently is dead, okay? And she also has not been provided a goddamn name of either, all right? So there's that argument that Alex Spiro has made. Alex Spiro turned around a few days ago and also argued that she filed a little bit too late following the victims of gender-based violence statute that now is in place, girl. He listed his technical argument for why she can't even file under that. Apparently she's tardy to the damn party. Okay, that statute has been exhausted and it has expired. All right. So those are two strong arguments. Well, as a result of Alex Spiro finally playing ball, okay, getting his shit together, focusing on the facts, because like I said, Alex Spiro, the facts are enough to overwhelm the courts and to convince any jury and judge that this is frivolous against Sean Carter. Okay, it just is. This is one of them situations, baby, where you ain't got to hoop and holler. You ain't got to add no more extra to it, baby. The facts are facting on Jay-Z's behalf in this case. All right, in this case, they are. All right, so Alex Spiro sought the permission of the judge to motion for dismissal. He took the appropriate measures, got his attitude right, realized who's the lawyer and who's the judge. All right. And the judge, as a result of chastising and spanking that ass, is seemingly approving now of Alex Spiro's conduct since he has taken heed and put on his big boy draws. So he has went back in to now motion for dismissal. The judge is allowing him to motion for dismissal. The judge, Judge Torres, has given Alex Spiro the official green light, baby, to file for a motion to dismiss this frivolous, baseless, lawsuit, girl. Hold on for 1 minute, y'all. Let me check something real quick. I just got an email. Y'all, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. You guys are coming into the building. Thumbs up, child. I don't want your number. I don't want to give you mine and no. Hold on, y'all. I got to check something real quick. I got to make sure that my, because I use that damn No Scrub song, child. Hold on. Make sure my shit straight. I don't want to give you mine and no. I don't want to meet you nowhere. I don't want none of your time. Hold on. Let me check, Bria. Okay, but it's visible in the United States. That's all that matters. Okay. That's all that matters, girl. I had to check something real quick. Yeah. All right. So let's get into Alex Spiro's motion for dismissal. I have not read this, girl, so we will be reading this together. And this comes straight up out of the Pacer Chaser, child. Okay, I got an old nasty table of contents, child. All right. Let's get into the deets here of Alex Spiro's dismissal. Oh, girl. This is lengthy. Oh, girl. Girl, y'all better hit the cash app, girl. All this, girl. Okay, here we go. Introduction, girl. Let's see what Alex Spiro got to say. Happy New Year's, everybody. All right. For months, an extortionate campaign has been targeting the named defendant under cover of darkness. The campaign was cynical and calculated to force payment of an exorbitant sum of money. Defendant would have to pay X millions of dollars irrespective of the truth, or else. When defendant refused to pay and instead took measures to establish his innocence, this unnamed plaintiff and her self-promoting counsel, whose name has been splashed across headlines and press conferences under auspices of representing her, went to extraordinary lengths to shut down fair defense. But those efforts too failed. Now, at last, the false, unfounded allegations and underlie this campaign of extortion are having judicial light shined on them, except that this plaintiff is bringing them as a doe who would continue to hide under cover of darkness, because that tactic is inconsistent with a genuine effort to determine the truth or falsity of these allegations, as opposed to an effort to procure a quick extortionate settlement. Defendant is respectfully seeking either dismissal of the allegations or disclosure of the plaintiff's identity. Fair is fair, says Spiro. It is not consistent with justice, fairness, or the rules governing federal proceedings for the plaintiff and her counsel to smear defendant's good name in ways that are calculated to feed media coverage and thus inflict maximum public relations damage, while the core fact of plaintiff's identity, revelation of which stands to discredit her entire case, remains wholly hidden from view, whereas doe status is reserved for truly extraordinary cases and predicated upon extraordinary justification. Here, a multitude of powerful considerations cut precisely the opposite direction, as other judges of this court have ruled in cases involving the same circumstances. All right, so I'm scared for Spiro, baby. The judge already, baby, done stated why she is going to allow the defendant's identity to be concealed for now, okay? And the judge said basically it's because of the nature of the case here, which is involving rape. Okay, and because of the high-profile nature of the case involving two central high-profile individuals, with Jane Doe being average, everyday citizen of the country who's not a celebrity, this could pose as interesting risk for her to be thrusted into the spotlight, etc. And given the nature of the allegations themselves, the judge considers this to be a sensitive matter. Now, what I wish Alex Spiro would have did, instead of going back in to argue this, because he argued this the first time around, is, to me, when I read the judge's response to why she was going to allow the identity of the plaintiff to be concealed for now. She also made mention that she would be revisiting the identity of the plaintiff if the case made it to discovery. Okay, the judge has no intention of keeping the plaintiff's identity concealed, because obviously at some point Jay-Z does have right to defend himself and to know who his accuser is. She stated that if the case made it to discovery, if it did, then they would revisit this, and more than likely Jane Doe's identity would be brought to the table. I wish Alex Spiro would have kind of listened a little bit more, because what the judge seemingly was saying and hinting to is the fact that, look, if you focus on the facts, this case might get wrapped up. It may not even make it to discovery. I don't want to hear you slamming Tony Busby. I don't care about him being diseased and filled with pestilence and having crabs and everything else. Focus on your client and focus on the facts in this situation, and then I can just go ahead and expedite this thing and dismiss Jay-Z from this shit. Okay? So I feel like, okay, cool. So I don't know why Alex Spiro is going back in to rip up unless they got plans for Little Miss Jane Doe, regardless. And what Alex Spiro may be fearing is that the judge is going to dismiss this lawsuit while also keeping the defendant's identity concealed, because to me it's given Rock Nation gonna sue her motherfucking ass. They're gonna counter sue her Lopez ass, baby, because we know that this is a Latino or autistic woman, because Alex Spiro said her last name in his PowerPoint presentation. He said Miss Lopez. Okay, so this woman is Latino, and they want her neck, and they want her information and her T-girl because they're going to sue her ass, gag her ass down, and they're going to apply some courtroom pressure to her ass. So this may be why Alex Spiro is continuing to harp on releasing her identity, because he does not want this judge to dismiss this case before she gives up the plaintiff's name, so that they then can go back in and file suit against her ass. Okay? So that might be what's at hand here. Defendant Sean Carter, Jay-Z, has built an impeccable reputation. He has never been accused of, let alone engaged in, any actual misconduct until today, when plaintiff in a amended complaint filed by attorney Anthony Busby has leveled baseless allegations and accused Mr. Carter of despicable acts while hiding behind the pseudonym Jane Doe. These claims are not about justice for victims, nor are they about giving victims of actual violence a voice. Instead, they are merely the chapter in attorney Busby's sprawling extortion saga, a saga whose aim is based and measured in dollars. Y'all, thumbs up, thumbs up. Busby has devoted himself to the business of extracting large settlements from celebrities, high net worth individuals, and businesses with any public ties to Sean Combs. Following his indictment for SEX crimes in September of 2024, references to justice or sunlight serve only a window dressing. Make no mistake, this case is about retaliating against the rare target who would not pay. Attorney Busby has a history of targeting celebrities by making false allegations of misconduct, and Mr. Carter sought to expose attorney Busby's latest extortion scheme in California lawsuit on November 2024. After receiving a demand letter from Anthony Busby, Exhibit 1 is the extortion complaint. Okay, so that exhibit is listed here. At the time, Anthony Busby knew who Mr. Carter was, even as Mr. Carter remained in the dark, as he does today, about the identity of Mr. Busby's client. Plaintiff and Anthony Busby now bring these claims against Mr. Carter in a clear act of retaliation, as the complaint admits on its face. While Mr. Carter was being extorted, he could not speak out without revealing his identity and the heinous allegations made against him, which are patently false. That would be playing into Mr. Anthony Busby's game and the leverage he is wielding. The upshot would be highly sensational and equally false allegations being broadcast across social media and the press, thereby maximizing the pressure exerted against extortion targets to satisfy his monetary demands, irrespective of the truth. Mr. Carter called upon the courts rather than paying. He has now been sued, so be it. One way or another, Mr. Carter is entitled and positioned to exonerate himself through the legal process. In this case, he will vigorously defend himself and expose the truth, that the allegations in the complaint are false, but disclosure of plaintiff's identity is among the most essential basic tools that can and should enable Mr. Carter to vindicate himself. Mr. Carter should not have to defend himself in the brightest of spotlights against an accuser who hides in complete darkness while leveling allegations that describe the purported acts occurring in the plain sight of witnesses who could refute the plaintiff's claims if only her identity was revealed. In the American judicial system, lawsuits are public by their nature and their design. The public is meant to know the facts involved and the identities of the parties. Indeed, federal law requires that all parties litigate using their true names. Parties are exempted from this mandate only in exceptional cases where, for instance, allowing the party to proceed anonymously will protect him or her from physical violence, deportation, imprisonment, and or severe harassment, which the judge did seemingly allude to that all being possible given the high-profile nature of the case. Because Jay-Z and his wife are some of the most famous people next to Jesus on the damn planet, they also have a fan base that may take up this matter themselves. And if given the identity publicly of the accuser, even though she's an adult woman, she's 38 years old now, it could subject her to an onslaught of harassment and or potential violence. We know that fandom is crazy. People be doxing people. This woman's address could get leaked. You know, she's already a mom of 2 teddy bears. She's already a autistic woman with a head injury. She has a plethora of health issues, etc. So, you know, she's a part of a vulnerable class. And the judge, once again, has already cited, because of the high profile nature of this case, that she could be opened up to all these things that Tony Busby just listed that his client is open to, given the allegations. But he doesn't feel it applies here. But I think some of this does. Here, plaintiff has chosen to sue Mr. Carter anonymously using the pseudonym Jane Doe, yet has not alleged any facts that would allow her to sidestep the federal mandate requiring that all parties must litigate using their true names. Now, mind you, in other cases filed by Tony Busby and other attorneys on behalf of P. Diddy accusers, there are judges who don't give a fuck about the dynamics of the allegations or the status of the case and are still forcing accusers to file in their government names. They have to give up these pseudonyms. So this judge could, if she wanted to, if she wanted to, baby, she could give up the name, but she's the judge in this case, and she has already made it her preference to protect Jane Doe's identity right now because it's so early on. And she may, in fact, dismiss this goddamn case, making it unnecessary. But once again, Alex Spiro may want to sue this bitch. So that's why he don't want this case dismissed without her identity being given up. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, everybody. Notably, she, as in the plaintiff, has not claimed severe harassment, threats of violence, or any ongoing interaction with Mr. Carter beyond communications through her attorney. Nor has plaintiff even submitted an affidavit alleging these type of special circumstances. Instead, she relies solely on a self-serving declaration from attorney Busby. Now, I wonder if Tony Busby is going to use that to his advantage, even though it would be obvious what he's doing if he does it after the fact. He may have her ass submit an affidavit. Attorney Busby's affidavit does not indicate how an attorney from Texas is competent to testify as to the mental state of plaintiff, let alone how he has personal knowledge of what happened to her in New York to supposedly cause that mental state. The declaration does little more than parrot Busby's own motivations and a legal standard. That is, oh, I forgot, in her allegation, she claimed that Not only was she actually assaulted, but she was physically assaulted as well. So it does not provide any actual facts indicating that plaintiff is indeed in need of extraordinary protection. Okay, so as Spiro is claiming, look, this woman, you trying to protect this woman, judge, but this woman hasn't even asked you to protect her. She hasn't cited anything that should warrant her goddamn protection or conceal her goddamn identity. Okay, so you're doing more for her than what she's even arguing on behalf of herself. So why protect her when she is not even admitting or bearing witness to any violence, intimidation, stalking, harassment, etc. at the hands of Jay-Z, the public, etc., girl. All right? Suffice is it to say that attorney preferred innuendo and generic accusations do not suffice to justify why Mr. Carter and the American public should be denied access to plaintiff's identity in this highly public litigation. If anything, the case presents an extraordinary need to follow the ordinary rules of the litigation and have both parties proceed under their actual names. Attorney Busby has for months taken to traditional and social media to describe how he planned to target celebrities in connection with these allegations, and he has now issued public social media posts about this action. Traditional media sources have somehow been reporting with Busby's express endorsement on the social media that Mr. Carter is the target of Busby's allegations. Thus, the plaintiff, through her counsel, has acted quite unlike a party who wants to minimize the amount of public attention on this matter. So he's claiming, girl, it ain't no way that Little Miss Anonymity girl don't want to be in the spotlight because she is hand in hand and endorsing her attorney being out here with all the shits, because the attorney is out here speaking to NBC News. He's out here doing press conferences. He's out here doing interviews. He's out here all up and down Instagram. He's all out here outside. So her own attorney is not even leaning into this whole, witness protection scenario that the judge is allowing. Instead, Buzbee has attempted to leverage public scrutiny to taint a potential jury pool and put pressure on Mr. Carter to settle this meritless case, which is exactly what I feel he's doing. In those circumstances, it would be extraordinarily unfair if the plaintiff could continue to hide behind the shield of anonymity while leveraging public interest in this case strategically to pressure the defendant. Furthermore, those allegations here describe serious criminal violations. It is fundamental in the American legal tradition that a person accused of such actions has the right to know the identity of the accuser and confront that person in open court. Moreover, the amended complaint itself makes clear what this is all about: not justice, but a quick and large settlement against a celebrity. The amended complaint on its face alleges that Busby chose to sue Mr. Carter because he fought back against Busby's extortionate tactics. As Busby subsequently tweeted, Mr. Carter's conduct in defending himself, quote, has had the opposite impact because, in Busby's own words, quote, plaintiff is emboldened, and although the complaint alleges that another celebrity was involved in the alleged actions, it does not reveal her identity, no doubt because Busby seeks to leverage his public allegations against Mr. Carter to extract a settlement from her. None of this is consistent with a genuine effort to seek justice and truth. The court should not allow this strategic abuse of the judicial system to continue. Mr. Carter deserves to know the identity of the person who is effectively accusing him in sensationalized publicity hunting fashion of criminal conduct, demanding massive financial compensation and tarnishing a reputation earned over decades. This court has recognized the nearly identical claims brought by other plaintiffs represented by attorney Busby do not meet the criteria to proceed anonymously. Okay, so that goes back to the other judges who are saying, yeah, you got to proceed, baby, with the government, with what your mama gave you. Here, the balance of the equities afford all the more reason why this plaintiff should be proceeding under her true name if she wishes to proceed at all. These are great arguments, girl. Right, Alex Spiro, all right? I'm with it, baby. In a admitted complaint filed on, okay, we already, hold on, declaration, we already know the background. Let me skim through some of this. There is every indication that this lawsuit is not truly about the plaintiff, but about Tony Buzbee's larger unsavory agenda. Despite plaintiff's request to proceed anonymously, plaintiff's counsel is doing everything to draw widespread attention to her. The same day the amended complaint was filed, naming Mr. Carter, Tony Buzbee posted on Instagram and Twitter prominently featuring himself addressing the amended complaint and making clear this is not about his client, but about his personal spat with Mr. Carter. And here is that motherfucking exhibit. Go off, Spiro. Go off, Greer. Hold on, y'all. I gotta adjust here. Go off, Spiro. Okay. Since the judge girl done gave Miss Spiro the green light, girl. Miss Spiro is just sizing this thing up, girl, and he's doing so very professionally and matter of factly, and I love that for him. I love that for him, Greer. All right, let's get back here. I had to make some adjustments super quick, y'all. Hey, y'all. For those of you who haven't seen this, Tony Busby, that exhibit is regarding the Jay-Z case and his efforts to silence my client. Mr. Carter previously denied being the one who sued me and my firm. He filed his frivolous case under a pseudonym. What he fails to say in his recent statement is my firm sent his lawyer a demand letter on behalf of an alleged victim, and that victim never demanded a penny from him. Instead, she only sought a confidential mediation. Since I sent the letter on her behalf, Mr. Carter has not only sued me, but he has tried to bully and harass me, and this plaintiff, his conduct has the opposite impact. She is emboldened. I'm very proud of her resolve. As for the allegations and the complaint filed, we will let the filing speak for itself, and we'll litigate the facts in court, not in the media, all right? So here's all of that. The lawsuit goes on, the motion goes on to say that what is more, Tony Busby has made numerous social media posts and statements to the media regarding his reputation, his representation of individuals with allegations against Sean Combs, including that he would target other unnamed celebrities. Now, mind you, remember, Tony Busby did say in his press conference, girl, that other celebrities have been settling with him and his clients out of court, girl. All right. So I think that's why Tony Busby was confident in trying to shake Jay-Z down, is because other celebrities, according to Tony's own words, have already pretty much given them money in exchange for him not filing against them. All right. This fucking nose ring is really bothering me. Hold on, y'all. My God, today. I don't want to take it out, though. These statements began a couple of weeks after Mr. Combs' indictment and continued after plaintiff, through Tony Busby, sent Mr. Carter unfounded demand letters in November 2024, falsely accusing him of rape. These baseless claims, unsupported by evidence, are nothing more than a calculated effort to strong-arm Mr. Carter into submission. When Mr. Carter proved unwilling to pay, Tony Busby escalated his tactics and schemed further, threatening to conjure additional false accusations and manufacturing a parade of fictitious additional victims to emerge and further damage Mr. Carter's reputation. To coerce Mr. Carter into compliance, plaintiff and attorney Busby imposed an arbitrary deadline in their extortionate demand letter, warning Mr. Carter that they would take a different course if he did not agree to a confidential mediation. All right, that's where the alleged, threats are coming. To resolve this delicate and important matter, without even waiting for the deadline provided by the extortionate demand letter to pass, Tony Busby posted on social media that he intended to file a lawsuit naming Mr. Carter and attaching the extortionate demand letter to punish Mr. Carter for seeking redress from a court. All along, Mr. Carter refused to bow to Busby's scheme. Faced with a choice to either pay an exorbitant sum to silence plaintiff's wild false allegations of actual assault, risking irreparable harm to his reputation, family, career, and livelihood. I told you that marriage on the line, baby. Or face a barrage of baseless lawsuits and financial ruin, Mr. Carter stood his ground. On November 18th, 2024, Mr. Carter filed a complaint against Busby and his firm for his extortionate conduct. In retaliation, plaintiff and attorney Busby. When I see attorney, I want to say Tony. Tony Busby filed the admitted complaint. They did so, however, only followed a failed attempt by Busby to obtain a restraining order against Mr. Carter's counsel. Wow, we didn't know that. Notably, the admitted complaint acknowledges that plaintiff, through her counsel Busby, is only bringing these false claims against Mr. Carter in retaliation for his failure to respond to her pre-litigation demand letter. Plaintiff goes so far as to accuse Mr. Carter of filing an utterly frivolous lawsuit orchestrating a conspiracy of harassment, bullying, and intimidation against plaintiff's lawyers, their families, employees, and former associates in an attempt to silence plaintiff from naming Jay-Z, rather than citing a desire for compensation for any actual harm suffered, because there was none. Plaintiff, through her counsel, apparently chose to file this amendment as a result of the egregious conduct perpetuated by Carter against attorney Busby, quite different from the plaintiff. These tactics are designed to silence the other extortion victims who, like Mr. Carter, have been targeted by Busby, not based on their perceived culpability, but the depth of their pockets. Wow. Busby's tactics send a clear message. Any individual who resists extortionate demands will face public retaliation through highly publicized lawsuits. The strategy is designed to silence other victims of Busby's extortion, while creating media spectacles to amplify unfounded claims and maximize monetary recoveries outside of court. That is, plaintiff is suing only now, after Tony has been left stinging from personal rebukes and defeat, supplies positive proof of how he elevates his own interests above his clients. Needless to say, this proceeding should not be driven by Busby agenda or interest. It is about finding the facts, applying the law, and fairly adjudicating what is the actual truth. Mr. Carter now is entitled to defend himself against these allegations with benefit of all protections and mechanisms available to defendants. To be sure, attorney Busby's game has been to prevent Mr. Carter from defending himself while punching below the belt. Today, that game is at an end, and Mr. Carter's defense has begun, starting with plaintiff's unmasking. Woo, baby. On November 6th of 2024, before Mr. Carter was named, the court provisionally granted the plaintiff's motion to proceed under a pseudonym in the case. At that time, the only named individual was Mr. Combs, who was indicted and had a flood of allegations leveled against him by a myriad of plaintiffs at the same time. In that order, the court clarified that at the time it was entered, quote, the balance of these interests may shift as the matter proceeds, and defendants deserve to be heard on this issue. On December 8th of 2024, plaintiff's counsel filed an amended complaint naming Mr. Carter, an upstanding public figure who has never been accused of anything like this in his life. By plaintiff's own admission, Mr. Carter was named solely because Mr. Carter refused to cede to plaintiff's counsel's extortionate demands. Plaintiff's counsel knows he cannot continue to proceed with these lawsuits anonymously. Indeed, another judge in this very courthouse, considering precisely the same circumstances presented by the plaintiff here, declined to permit that plaintiff to proceed anonymously. Mr. Carter now brings this motion because circumstances have changed. What that amended complaint put at issue no longer reflects the interests of the plaintiff. It is now a vehicle serving the singular agenda of Busby. Lest there be any doubt, one need only look to social media posts Busby made concurrent with this filing. It features no image or symbolism related to any purported victim of sexual assault. It features only Busby himself. Plaintiff amended complaint should be dismissed and the motion to proceed anonymously denied as moot. In the alternative, the court should require plaintiff to identify herself so that Mr. Carter can adequately defend himself against these baseless and spurious allegations. A putative plaintiff must establish subject matter jurisdiction Okay, girl, we ain't reading the damn legal standard, honey. But what is this? The Second Circuit has enumerated a non-exhaustive list of factors to determine whether a plaintiff's interest in anonymity outweighs the interests of both the public. All right, whether the litigation involves matters are highly sensitive of a personal nature, which the judge does believe it is. Whether identification poses a risk to retaliatory physical or mental harm, which the judge does believe it does. Whether identification presents other harms and likely severity of those harms, including whether the injury litigated against would be incurred as a result of the disclosure of plaintiff's identity, which this judge does believe. Whether the plaintiff, okay, it looked like the judge pretty much already said she agrees that all these factors is what concluded her choice to conceal plaintiff's identity for now. A district court is not required to discuss every factor or use any particular formulation, provided that it balances the interests at stake. Plaintiff must bear the burden of rebutting the presumption of open records and establishing that the balance of factors weigh in the favor of proceeding synonymously. The balance of interest favors disclosure. Plaintiff's motion should be denied in full and her identity disclosed immediately as required by the federal rules. The allegations in the lawsuit are not unique, nor are the circumstances exceptional so as to warrant the extreme accommodation of proceeding anonymously. Multiple judges in this very district to consider these issues have concluded as much and required the plaintiffs to provide the court, the defendants, and the public with their true names, even where the facts and circumstances were more supportive of relief. Because there is even less reason to support anonymity here, the court should require the plaintiff to reveal her identity or dismiss her suit against Mr. Carter, which I believe the judge is going to do that. The judge, to me, hinted to doing that. She just wanted Alex Spiro to calm the fuck down. Because she pretty much already basically said she was concealing the identity of the plaintiff because it's early on and it may not even make it to discovery, baby. Okay. It looked like the judge may be informed based upon the arguments made by Alex Spiro that these claims are completely baseless and contradictory and there are no facts to corroborate them, on top of the fact that she filed later after the whole victims of gender-based violence statute was exhausted. So it looked like the judge is taking heed. She just wants Alex Spiro to let her get there. All right, but like I said, Alex Spiro may also want the identity because they got plans for little Miss Rabbitfoot ass after all this. Plaintiff's allegations as pleaded are highly sensitive and personal in that they describe a sexual assault. However, the allegations of sexual assault by themselves are not sufficient to entitle a plaintiff to proceed under a pseudonym. And then he cites case law here. Courts in this district have denied motions to proceed under a pseudonym despite concluding that the plaintiff's allegations were highly sensitive. So he's arguing. The judge, once again, is the judge. She ultimately gets the rule in terms of what does or doesn't happen. She has already listed and stated in her response to Alex Spiro that she believes that all these things are here and exist in terms of risk for the plaintiff. However, she may change her mind after hearing this argument from Alex Spiro and decide that, okay, I will release the identity, or she may double down and continue to conceal the plaintiff's identity. Thank you, Tiana. You guys, thumbs up, child. We're working, girl. We are working, child. We're working, baby. The second factor is whether identification poses a risk of retaliatory physical or mental harm to plaintiff, or even more critically to innocent non-parties, which, yes, it could automatically, just because of, like the judge said, the high-profile nature of the case. You know, this is not a wealthy family. They don't have bodyguards. They don't live in upscale communities. This is a regular family. The woman already apparently suffers from a plethora of health issues, head injuries. She's severely autistic, etc. Her dad, you know, is just a regular man. So, yes, could you imagine the Beehive or the Camel Z tribe, you know, getting involved in all of this, baby? Okay, I think this is really the bulk of why the judge is not wanting to open up the woman's identity to the public yet. The plaintiff offers no evidence of any risk of harm. Okay, I already spoke to that. Mr. Carter vehemently denies the allegations, has no idea who plaintiff is or who she could possibly be, and thus has no known contact with plaintiff for the approximately 20 years since the alleged incident, which, even if it occurred, did not involve Mr. Carter, and there is no allegation of any threat to plaintiff in the complaint. Mr. Carter is a well-regarded public figure presented by competent counsel who, in contrast to plaintiff's counsel, intend to litigate this case through the court system rather than social media. In any event, counsel has not identified any present threat of physical harm to plaintiff from anyone. Plaintiff's counsel stresses that other alleged victims he represents have stated that Mr. Combs made threats of violence against them or against the client's family members if the client disclosed to anyone the facts of the actual assaults. And that's in Buzbee's declaration, apparently. But there is certainly no allegation that Carter ever threatened to harm plaintiff, nor could he, as he has no idea who she is. Plaintiff's counsel asserts without offering any evidence that plaintiff would certainly experience mental harm if she is forced to reveal her identity to the public, which could happen for sure. I mean, it could. But Spiro is doing what he's supposed to do for his client. He isn't supposed to really give a damn about her. He's getting paid to give a damn about Jay-Z. So, you know, fair is fair. Nor is it sufficient for plaintiff to put forth a generalized argument that revealing the identity of a victim of actual assault would further victimize her. Accepting such an argument would be to hold that nearly any plaintiff alleging actual assault could proceed anonymously, which simply is not the law in the circuit. Rather, courts require direct evidence linking the disclosure of plaintiff's name to specific injuries, such as in case law there. One court in this circuit allowed a plaintiff to proceed anonymously where she submitted evidence from a medical professional who predicted that requiring disclosure of her name would cause psychological and emotional pain so intense that it would threaten her stability, her safety, and even her life. Even where such medical evidence is present, other factors may still tip the balance against permitting a plaintiff to proceed anonymously. So Spiro was like, girl, you haven't even required this woman to like legitimize her actual abuse. And remember, we have gone over this and said, girl, look, Miss Little Rabbit Foot, Little Miss Electric Scooter girl has not even, she didn't even admit that this even happened to her aside from when she told it to Tony Busby. She doesn't have any medical record. She never talked to a therapist. She doesn't even disclose how she treated her injuries as a 13-year-old autistic girl who claims that her father asked her no questions during the whole 5.5-hour commute from Midtown back to Rochester. So at a spiritualist, like, girl, there are literally no grounds. This whole woman's claims is groundless in every which way, shape, or form, from the allegations against Jay-Z to even why you think her identity should be concealed, because there's not even any proof of fucking injury. Like, there's nothing to substantiate it. But once again, this isn't a matter of what the judge has to do. This is a matter of what the judge prefers to do. And because the judge is given right of preference, she so far has once again concealed the plaintiff's identity, but she may not after all this. Regardless of what types of direct evidence might support such a finding, it is well established that counsel's conclusory statements and speculation about mental harm to plaintiff is insufficient. But as discussed above, there is no evidence, just emotion say so. Plaintiff's counsel has failed to provide any evidence, no statement from a mental health professional, no affidavit from plaintiff herself, nor any corroborating proof to support the bare claim that disclosing plaintiff's identity would cause her mental health. Counsel's unsupported assertions are sufficient. Plaintiff must offer the court more than just mere speculation to justify proceeding anonymously. While Mr. Carter is a public figure, this does not outweigh his and the public's right to the customary and constitutionally embedded presumption of openness in judicial proceedings. Plaintiff has chosen to bring this lawsuit leveling serious charges, and as such, as she has put her credibility in issue. Moreover, her counsel has expended considerable time, energy publicizing this case, dragging Mr. Carter and countless other public figures into baseless litigation for his own pecuniary gain. Indeed, when Mr. Carter refused to succumb to the outrageous demands that Mr. Carter pay up, Busby immediately escalated. Within minutes of filing the amended complaint naming Mr. Carter, he posted about it on social media, weaponizing the judicial process to amplify his unfounded accusations. The motivation for naming Mr. Carter here could not be more clear. It has nothing to do with justice for victims. It is all about Busby, as plaintiff's counsel has repeatedly claimed sunlight is the best disinfectant. Mr. Carter is entitled to investigate the plaintiff's background and challenge her allegations and her credibility in order to defend himself against these false accusations. Rightfully so. Moreover, media outlets have a constitutional right to publish stories about this case. Further, many individuals who have made serious allegations against Combs have filed lawsuits in this district in their names. He lists all those cases. All of these lawsuits involve sensitive allegations that could expose the plaintiff to scrutiny and embarrassment. Plaintiff has not shown that she is entitled to the exceptional remedy of anonymity where these are not. Plaintiff does not contend that disclosure of her identity poses a risk of harm to any innocent non-party, so this factor favors revelation of the plaintiff's identity. Plaintiff does not argue that she faces other severe harms for which the second factor does not account. Accordingly, the court finds the plaintiff's assertions of potential harms are speculative, unsupported by evidence, and insufficient to justify anonymity in this case. Plaintiff is not especially vulnerable, particularly in light of her age. Plaintiff is an adult now, 37 years old, and she has not identified any reason for the court to treat her as more vulnerable than the great run of adult plaintiffs who bring allegations of actual accusation in their own names. Thus, the fourth factor weighs against plaintiff's request to proceed under a pseudonym. Courts are loth to grant motion to proceed anonymously against private parties, such as case law here. Mr. Carter and all the other defendants are private parties. As such, factor 5 weighs against plaintiff. The sixth plaintiff factor is whether the defendant is prejudiced by allowing the plaintiff to press her claims anonymously. Relevant to this inquiry is whether defendants would experience difficulties in conducting discovery, the reputational damage, and the fundamental fairness of proceeding anonymously. Mr. Carter would be prejudiced in all of these respects. Counsel's assertions that Mr. Carter or other defendants need not know plaintiff's identity to file an answer and conduct discovery strain credibility. Plaintiff asserts that defendants will still have the right to dispose or confer with any and all witnesses. Clearly, Mr. Carter needs to know plaintiff's identity to dispose her and to prepare to dispose her. That much is given. But if Mr. Carter does not know who is falsely accusing him, he cannot thoroughly investigate her allegations and her background and otherwise prepare a defense to her claims. Hold on, I fucked around. Well, this is a lot of reading. Plaintiff is bringing a lawsuit about an incident that allegedly occurred more than 24 years ago, which may be difficult to defend given the passage of time, given with information about plaintiff's identity, hamstringing Mr. Carter by preventing him from even knowing where to begin in his investigation. This cannot be permitted. Plaintiff's counsel confidentially disclosing plaintiff's name to defense counsel would not obviate the potential prejudice. Highly publicized cases can cause unknown witnesses to surface. However, if plaintiff's name is kept from the public, information about only one side may thus come to light. In particular, persons with information about plaintiff or her allegations that would be helpful to the defense. All right, great argument here, Spiro. Okay, because Jay-Z needs to be able to rightfully defend himself, even though the judge hasn't even permitted this thing to go to trial yet. All right. However, Alex Spiro wants the deeds and the titles and the Carfax on Little Miss Rabbitfoot, because it's clear to me now that Alex Spiro does not want to leave this case with just it being dismissed. He wants to give Little Miss Lopez that motherfucking work. He wants to expose her ass down to the goddamn ground. And he wants her name so that he could disseminate that name, just as Jay-Z's name is out here in the spotlight with these allegations, also thrust it into the public, also do his fair share of investigating, so that if there's anybody out there who knows Little Miss Anonymity, they can come forward and provide said information that might be in favor of Jay-Z, such as Little Miss Anonymity sharing with her cousins, sharing with the relative, sharing with the friend that she planned on lying, that she's in cahoots with Tony Buzbee as it relates to Diddy and Jay-Z. I mean, who the fuck would know, knows what would come out of Little Miss Anonymity's identity being publicized. But it not being publicized doesn't allow Jay-Z to fight with the entirety of his Infinity Stone glove, okay? And Alex Spiro wants all of the Infinity Stones, baby, okay? He's going for the gusto. Indeed, the potential prejudice to Mr. Carter will respect to discovery inseparable from the potential prejudice to his reputation and fundamental fairness. Plaintiff alleges that myriad name and as yet unnamed individuals and entities engaged in or facilitated heinous conduct with Mr. Combs or were complicit in the same if damaging information about only one side is aired. Mr. Carter adamantly denies the allegations with respect to his involvement. Through the litigation, Mr. Carter cannot mitigate the damage to his reputation from being included in these false claims. Thus, courts in the circuit have long stressed the fundamental unfairness of allowing plaintiff to make her accusations from behind a cloak of anonymity. All right, there's a 7 seal, girl. I'm not reading all this, girl, okay? But Tony Buzbee, he's doing a great job. He's doing a great job, girl. He is unleashing the goddamn 7 seals of the Book of Revelation, girl. He is making his case through and through, by and motherfucking by. He is definitely arguing to a T why her identity is necessary in this litigation. And they either want this case dismissed because it's factually baseless, or at the very least want her identity revealed so that they can give her that motherfucking work. In the alternative, the court should dismiss the complaint under Federal Rule of Civil Procedure 12, okay, which Alex Spiro claims ain't no legal argument been made. But here it is, girl. Alex Spiro definitely is making a legal argument, girl. He got case law. He got everything set up here, girl. As detailed above, plaintiff's motion fails to meet the stringent requirements for that narrow exception of the rules. Numerous courts have rejected similarly vague and unsupported assertions at the pleading stage, okay? Plaintiff has provided no evidence, no affidavit, no declaration, or specific factual support to establish the kind of severe harm necessary to justify pseudonymity. Her vague assertions of potential harm fall far short of the stringent requirements established by the Second Circuit and other federal courts. The lack of specificity in the plaintiff's motion, combined with her counsel's public actions drawing attention to this litigation, undermines any claim that anonymity is necessary to protect her privacy or safety. Plaintiff makes no effort to explain how litigation will work in practice without Mr. Carter knowing who plaintiff is. Accordingly, because plaintiff fails to meet the requirements for pseudonymity and has not properly commenced this action, the court should deny her motion and dismiss the amended complaint under Rule 12. Mr. Carter would request this court revisit its provisional order permitting the plaintiff to proceed anonymously and require the plaintiff to refile her complaint with her true name. To the extent she fails to do so, Mr. Carter would request the court then dismiss the complaint for failing to satisfy Federal Civil Procedure 10 and therefore failing to establish subject matter jurisdiction pursuant to Rule motherfucking 12, baby. Spiro. That was good, bitch. That was good. That was good, baby. You gave a lot for the judge, baby, to think, girl, over winter break, baby. Okay. Alex Spiro did his thing in this filing. All right. It wasn't petty. It was matter of a fact. He went over and beyond when it came to case law, his references. I really feel like he made grounded arguments. And this made lead to the judge revealing Little Miss Anonymity's identity. I feel like in a way also like the setback here could be too that because Alex Spiro doesn't want to walk away from this litigation without this girl's identity, that also leads to like prolonging this whole ordeal, which Jay-Z clearly, you know, cannot withstand day to day, moment to moment, nor can Solange and Beyonce, who I'm sure whose feet and knuckles are tired of going upside this nigga's head. Okay. However, I can understand why they're fighting for the reveal of her identity. And it'd be nice if the judge go ahead and dismiss and gives up said identity so that Alex Spiro can just tie this thing up into a nice little bow, and then they can proceed to do whatever they're going to do next, which I'm sure is a countersuit against Little Miss Anonymity. As a result of Tony Busby getting that motherfucking work, and now his whole shit is falling apart, girl, and Alex Spiro is being the lawyer that he is paid to motherfucking be and doesn't need the ad hominem attacks to do it, girl. Tony Busby is once again doing exactly what Alex Spiro is accusing his ass of doing, which is taking to social media in order to litigate a case that he knows there is no case as it relates to the courts, girl. Okay? So he's already back speaking to outlets, girl, because this all Alex Spiro actually has, which also is why, as you can see from even from Tony Busby's response, Tony Busby not only has to litigate his case in the court of public opinion, he didn't even push for any motions in his responses to any of Alex Spiro's motions. He wrote letters to the judge while Alex Spiro is motioning the actual courts. So, courtesy of Newsweek, girl, Mr. Busby, the lawyer representing the woman who claims that she was raped by rappers Jay-Z and Sean Diddy Combs, has defended his client after inconsistencies emerged in her claims. Jay-Z's lawyers are also arguing that the case is time-barred and should be thrown out of court. Newsweek sought email comment on Thursday from attorneys representing Jay-Z and Combs. The woman says that she was raped by Jay-Z and da-da-da-da. We already know that. A series of sexual allegations against Combs add to the wider da-da-da-da. Jay-Z is married to the singer Beyonce, da-da-da-da-da. What to know? Buzbee told Newsweek on Thursday that he had screened his client before taking her case and strongly rejected criticism that he should have done more to uncover her inconsistencies. That is something arrogant and something fierce, baby. Because as a result of you not doing what the public and Roc Nation is accusing you and criticizing you for not doing, you wouldn't be in this situation now had you actually vetted her situation. It would not have given Alex Spiro the opportunity, baby, to then do a whole 30-minute PowerPoint presentation going line by line of where the fuck his particular client was in Twirl and Club Lotus the night following the VMA year 2000 aftermath. It would not have allowed Alex Spiro to point out the fact that there was no Jumbotron permit for the MTV Video Music Awards that year. Something you should have known before you took up this woman's case privately and then legally by filing. You would have known that her father could not corroborate this whole ordeal, even though she claims he picked her up and drove her back home. A 10-hour commute in total that the father has no recollection of because it did not happen. Had you actually vetted the client like the public and Roc Nation is criticizing you of not vetting, you would have known that the woman she claims that drove her and helped her to sneak out the house to illegally break into the Radio City Music Hall also is fucking dead and conveniently cannot corroborate this whole ordeal. If you had vetted her properly, you would have also known that Benji Madden, the punk rock artist that she claims she spoke to at the after party about his Last Supper tattoo, was actually in the Midwest on tour and not even in New York at all. These are all things that you would have known that would have helped you to not be put in this situation, but we know why you put yourself in this situation and you allowed her dumb ass to be in this situation is because this was supposed to be just a shakedown that never got this far. And then when Jay-Z, like Alex Spiro said, retaliated against you for trying to shake him down and sued your ass for extortion, you then retaliated by having her amend her lawsuit to then include Sean Carter. And you were still hoping, because of the high profile and sensitive and fragile nature of most celebrities' public image, and also considering that he's married to one of the most tight-lipped public figures in the world, Beyonce, that Jay-Z would have folded by now. But Jay-Z isn't. And Beyonce ain't going nowhere. You would have not even been in a situation that would have aroused other people you've done wrong to then file suit against your ass as a result of you having the audacity to attempt to take advantage of Jay-Z's ass, because it reminded them of what you did to them, aka all these former clients who have now filed suit against you on top of Jay-Z. And the fact that Tony Busby is delusional and arrogant enough to actually find issue with that criticism, when that criticism is so polarizingly constructive and just true, because your own client really op your ass by running to NBC to say she does have inconsistencies and untruths in her allegations. And instead of just bowing down and kissing the ring, the same ring that he wanted Jay-Z to do so, instead, girl, he's standing up, girl. And this is what, if Loud and Wrong was a person, that would be Tony Busby. Let's get into the article. This is what Tony Busby told the Newsweek on Thursday. Quote, opinions are like noses. Everyone has one and they all smell. Busby told Newsweek. What? Quote, this client was screened by at least 5 lawyers. She also underwent a background check, and we had a seasoned investigator and an ex-cop check key points of her claims, he said. She has a reasonable explanation of any alleged inconsistencies and remains adamant about her claim. Anyone who says she wasn't properly screened is either ignorant or has an agenda. If that was the case, bitch, why is your own client on national television saying she has inconsistencies and errors in her own stories? And what in the fuck could a seasoned investigator, ex-cop, tell you about her claims? Because what he also didn't know was that the New Jersey Alpine alleged U-shaped property that Tisha Taylor was around here trying to say could have been the property wasn't even purchased by Diddy in 2000 or 2003, but in 2004, which contradicts both Tisha Taylor and Little Miss Anonymity's timeline. The investigator, ex-cop, would have been able to know and check out everything that Alex Spiro checked out, which then would have had his ass come back to you and say, baby, there is no case here. This is why her ass was given to you by another law firm, which, once again, I got to keep reiterating, does not make any fucking sense. That had another firm who first had this woman checked out her claims. According to Buzbee, 5 different motherfucking attorneys and a seasoned investigator, and yet 5 attorneys, a seasoned investigator, knew that they could not represent this woman because there was nothing to represent here, and because they don't specialize in shaking people down in hopes that they'll get a payout without having to actually go to court. Let her ass go, or informed you about this woman, and then you chose to jump your ass in because you are an alleged ambulance chasing, shakedown, alleged extortionist ass attorney. And you did what all opportunists do. You sought opportunity. One firm's trash became your motherfucking treasure, and now you're getting that ass whooped. In both the case you filed on her behalf, and now you got to fight directly with Rock Nation in their extortion lawsuit against your ass, coupled with all of the previous clients that you allegedly have abused and taken advantage of in one way or the motherfucking other. And I find it very interesting that Tony Busby despite continuing to uphold, as Spiro said, this imaginary firm. He still refuses to cite that firm by name. Who is the firm, Buzbee? Who's the firm, baby? Why hasn't this firm, seeing all that you're going through publicly, all that you're going through judicially, came out in your defense? Why won't this firm join this fight with you against Rock Nation? Why won't this firm come out of hiding and talk about exactly what they vetted? If there was a firm where 5 attorneys and a seasoned investigator checked her out, why are you not listing any of the things that they checked out? Where are the facts? You didn't present any in the accusation, in the actual claim, in the amended complaint, and there damn sure has been no facts since you and Alex Spiro have been going blow for blow and filing in the court. Who is this imaginary fictitious law firm that vetted this fictitious woman about this fictitious story? Do they even exist, or could it be darker than what we realize? That this is one shady ass firm in cahoots with Busby, a shady ass law firm. And maybe this imaginary law firm actually does exist, but they also specialize in the bullshit of it all. And they passed Busby on to see what his recommendations was. And the agreement could be, hey, I'll do the dirty work. We get a payout. I'll cut you guys a little cut as a result of looking out for me and outsourcing for opportunity. I mean, for all we know, baby, who knows, girl? It could be a whole community of corrupt lawyers and law firms that Tony Busby is allegedly in cahoots with. But I'm leaning more toward the fact that this law firm doesn't exist at all. He won't name the investigator. He won't name the lawyers. And more importantly, he won't disclose what they vetted. Okay, because I would love to hear all the facts in contrast to all of the facts that Alex Spiro has already came up with all of 30 minutes, baby. It didn't even take him forever and a day, baby, to debunk this shit down to the ground from beginning to motherfucking end. Okay? So why won't Tony Busby openly disclose? You know, he's very secret in all of that he do, girl. He wants Jane Doe's, John Doe's. He wants imaginary law firms, imaginary lawyers, imaginary seasoned investigators, girl. Everybody got anonymity around him. All tales of a lying-ass motherfucker playing lying-ass motherfucking games, okay? The plaintiff is one of over 200 people who have accused Combs of sexual abuse. Combs is being held in New York, On December 13th, NBC aired details of an interview with Jay-Z's accuser in which she claimed that she talked to a musician, Benji Madden, and his brother at the VMA after party where the alleged rape took place. In her lawsuit, she also alleged after she was raped by Combs and Jay-Z at the same party, and she ran to a gas station and called her father, who came to collect her. Madden's representative told NBC that he was touring the Midwest during the VMAs in 2000 and could not have been at the after-show party. In addition, the accuser's father told NBC that he does not recall picking up his daughter after the alleged rape. Former federal prosecutor Naomi Ramani said that NBC interview could create a big problem for the accuser. You bet? Arguing the potentially inconsistent testimony could be used and will be during cross-examination. Ramani, now president of the West Coast Trial Lawyers law firm in California, said jurors may either believe the inconsistencies or inconsistent mistakes or think the accuser is lying. She's lying, baby. Ain't no inconsistencies. Okay? When you claim that you watched the award ceremony on a jumbotron that did not exist and was not aired in Midtown, that's not an inconsistent. That is a lie. when you say you spoke and had a full conversation with two men who were not even in the state, that is not an inconsistency. That is a lie. These are flagrant, blatant lies, not inconsistencies. An inconsistency would be, I spoke to Benji Madden. No. An inconsistency would be, I think I remember speaking to Benji Madden about his tattoo. That's in the hypothetical that Benji Madden would have been in New York at the after party. But really, in fact, what they spoke about was the outfit he was wearing, not a tattoo. That's an inconsistency. Inconsistency is this situation is so wild. You can't even really produce inconsistency. Those are inconsistencies. A lie is, I spoke to someone who did not exist in the room. I watched a show on a Jumbotron that did not exist. Those are lies. Okay? And that's why I was saying in my last live, girl, I cannot believe that Tony Busby, out of his own arrogance, out of his own narcissism, is going to force this already mentally impaired woman to go through this whole ordeal knowing exactly where it's going to end, which is in public humiliation of her. And now Alex Spiro is on her neck to get her identity exposed. And I'm not just going to hold this woman accountable for opening up herself and her family to the onslaught of craziness that comes with being a part of a high-profile case, on top of the fact that she is going into this case already admitting she lied, she guessed, and with the facts already factoring in Jay-Z's side, this is definitely going to arrange the public to have an ass-whipping energy toward her. But I got to blame her handler, which is Mr. Tony Busby in this case. Because she might not have all her goddamn screws screwed in, but he's supposed to know better. But because he's arrogant and egotistical, and he is experiencing a narcissistic injury as a result of Alex Spiro and Jay-Z exposing his motherfucking ass, holding his ass accountable, suing his ass, baby, he is waging all-out irrational war, in a war he's already lost. And he's going to do that at the further expense and injury of this already frail, fragile as vulnerable woman. Shameful on Tony Busby's part. Busby made a mistake by not vetting the case letter, and the case letter, and that's according to a federal prosecutor. Even a federal prosecutor, even someone outside of Alex Spiro, is criticizing him. Another professional in his field, federal prosecutor Niema Romani, also, quote, is criticizing Busby for making the mistake of not vetting the case, but we know why he didn't vet it, because it wasn't supposed to be vetted. This all was supposed to happen outside of court filings. This was supposed to be about a successful private shakedown so that Jay-Z could be amongst the other anonymous celebrities that has settled out of court in order to keep his name from a bunch of bullshit. That's why he didn't vet it. It wasn't supposed to be vetted. He didn't even do the work to vet it. That's why he didn't care if there were facts. He was banking, like Spiro said, on Jay-Z being so tight and ironclad about his reputation that he would basically pay them to go away and to not add injury to his reputation, even if these things were completely baseless. Because people do settle out of court because they don't want this shit even to show up in their business and upon their image. Quote, Busby could have easily talked to the victim's father to verify that he picked her up, which he didn't, but that was intentional. Like the NBC reporter did. The NBC, baby, a federal prosecutor is slamming Tony Busby for not having no common sense, girl. She's saying, baby, How much more was her attorney supposed to do if this were the common sense things to do for a fucking NBC reporter? The NBC reporter did more vetting than Buzbee did. But once again, remember, this ain't about vetting. He didn't vet it because he knows this is bullshit. And he was using Little Miss anonymity and further taking advantage of her by using her willingness to make this claim against Jay-Z, who wasn't even put in the original lawsuit, in order for a backdoor payout. She goes on to say, and Buzbee could have verified that Benji Madden was at or not at the 2000 VMAs. Now, the NBC interview is a problem to the extent that it's inconsistent with the allegations in the complaint, which had to already be amended. Bitch. And Tony Buzbee is still denying all wrongdoing. Baby, tear his ass up, Jay-Z. Tear Tony, Spiro, and Jay-Z, tear Buzbee ass into fucking smithereens. Y'all are his manifested karma. That's why Tony Buzbee manifested this baby. He fucking around and he finding out day by day by day, blow by blow by blow, bitch. Okay? The narcissism is motherfucking real. It's real, you guys. Okay, let me read some of the comments from the chat, girl. Baby. But that's how narcissists are. Narcissists die on their heel. They die on their sword, girl. They go down in a blaze of glory. They do not have the pullback feature that healthy people have, that healthy, sensible folk have, baby. Okay? All these news stations and media outlets are to blame for not holding Busby accountable by calling out his lies. Okay? So shout out to Newsweek, girl, who who took statements from a former prosecutor who had no problem. Okay? These are the people who need to be in the conversation. Okay? I hope that the former prosecutor takes the NBC News as well, girl, that she makes, some public, notable, televised statements, baby, because you're right. Media should be holding folk accountable, but we know that this is all capitalism, right? The media just care about the headlines more so than the truth. It's unfortunate. It's motherfucking unfortunate, child. So, Tony Buzbee out here further embarrassing his damn self, girl. Legal win for Jay-Z. This is not over, though, because the judge is giving Buzbee an opportunity to respond by the 6th. Okay, motions are all due by the 6th, which is 2 days from now. No, the motions are due by the 6th. Responses are due by the 28th, and the replies are due by the 14th, girl. So, basically, we will be hearing what happens next and what the judge is going to rule next month. For the rest of the month, we're going to be just getting all of the responses and the motions and replies from both sides for the remainder of the month, girl. If Alex Spiro continues to place his cards right, if he continues to do what needs to be done, shout out to Brooklyn in the house, the judge seemingly is going to dismiss this lawsuit. And then I want to see between these big head ass YouTubers, girl, if the same platforms they've been using, baby, to do all this yabba dabba doing and spreading misinformation, bitch, okay, and also leading without integrity, are going to also double down, baby, when our verdict is verdicting. And I hope that members of social media, baby, hold all these hoes accountable. I hope that they ask these content creators who've been spreading misinformation, girl, why they too seemingly reported and commentated in a way that was in opposition of the facts in this case, because the case was an open and shut one before it ever even got off the ground, baby. Okay? And a lot of these content creators who've been spreading misinformation, girl, they have not doubled down and dealt with the facts, baby. They've been emphasizing everything that Busby doing? Oh, Busby know what he's doing. Oh, Busby, oh, baby. You know, they've been trying to make Busby work like Fetch, baby. Oh, Busby got him now, baby. Oh, they've been, girl, just exacerbating and escalating, baby. The nonsense, okay? I want to see if they're going to be doing all that shimmying, all that shaking, baby. All that knucking bucking, baby. When the verdicts, baby. Because I don't give a damn what Tony Busby says to the public or through Instagram or what he says in a letter to the judge. None of that squashes the motherfucking facts. And they will prevail in this case. All right. So that's it. That's all, girl. I'll be keeping you guys updated on everything, girl. Okay. You guys already know where you can show your love to, girl. Make sure you subscribe, share, thumbs up on your way out. You can show some love on the Cash App, $Consciouztv, spelled just how it is here, paypal.me/ConsciouzTV, spelled just how it is here, girl. Email me allthetea@ConsciouzTV.com. Follow me on Instagram @ConsciouzTV and follow the Patreon ConsciouzTV, girl. I love y'all down to the ground. You guys have a wonderful and blessed Saturday, girl. We might have to come bite depending on what the hell is going on. Just stay tuned. Keep your notifications on. And I will see you all later.